All right, Brett, back with the details. This is going to be the Spags episode here. We knew he was going to bring some crazy blitzes against the Broncos, and what we saw with these two instances, he did not disappoint.
Yeah, second half they were lights out. I know the Broncos had that last drive there at the end, obviously to get it down and have that field goal attempt. But I know the yardage and moving the ball is very difficult for the Broncos in the second half.
We'll get to both of these. The second one's my favorite, so can't wait to break that one down. But this one, really good for different reasons too. The Chiefs are going to go all out on the blitz here. Talk about why this is effective, Brett.
Well, it's effective, number one, because they hide it well. They are very good at their blitz tempo, not tipping their hand too early, which would allow a possible not only a protection check, but to get out of a or get to a completely different play. But here you've got a 7-man pressure, and the Broncos have a 6-man protection. Now they do have a tight end that's going to chip and then release, so he's not really part of the protection here. But you have the running back and your 5 offensive linemen. So what you're going to get, as I said, are 7 rushers, and the guards, the center, and the tackles are all occupied. And you're going to get Bolton and Reed rushing the A-gaps. And the running back can only pick one of those. So you've got 2 free rushers there, and he chooses he's going to pick up Reed, which I probably would have picked him up. If it's him or Bolton, I'm probably picking up Bolton or Reed as well instead of trying to block Bolton. A little less weight there, but either way, you're getting a free rusher.
That's exactly what the Chiefs got here, and obviously the big sack for Bolton. But you cannot do this. Again, you talk about 7. The math is easy here, right? Usually there's a guy back here we call a safety, and the Chiefs have none of those on this play. And so you are trusting Najee Johnson, who's your third cornerback. You're trusting a guy like Brian Cook, who's a safety. These guys are all in man coverage, and we know that potentially these 2 guys can maybe switch off on these 2, depending on whether one goes in or one goes out. But this takes a lot of faith in these 4 players to know that they're going to come through on this play.
Yeah, and if you roll that back a little bit, they're making this look like cover 1 pre-snap, because that safety, you said that's Cook.
Yeah,
I mean, he's playing man coverage, but he's 10 yards off at the snap of the ball. So he usually, if you're playing sort of man coverage, even if you're a man match, you're down at 5 yards, right? So they're really, really hiding this. And what that allows for, as I mentioned, it doesn't allow for them to make any sort of checks because they have transparency. And okay, it's cover 0 here. We're going to run slot fade, slant flat, some sort of cover 0 beater, because it's pretty unorthodox what it looks like from a defensive standpoint, playing cover 0 out of that look.
Changing the picture late in the process on a rookie quarterback, a pretty good formula for success. Speaking of changing the picture here, this might be one of my favorite ones of the entire year, Brett. This is a jailbreak for the Chiefs. And if you just watch it once, you say, oh, my God, they sent everybody. They sent everybody. But as you point out to me, that's not true. That's not true on this play.
No, yeah, as you said, you're sitting there watching the game real time. Oh, they sent 6 or they sent 7 or whatever. Nope, they're sending 5 here. So they still have 6 droppers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chiefs are sending 5 guys. They got 6 back in coverage.
Yep, and you notice up top there, that is Chris Jones. And Chris Jones is being blocked by a tight end, which is not a good matchup if you're the Broncos. And then they have 2 protectors. Their right tackle, I guess their tackle looks to help a little bit, but the right guard is he's blocking air. There's 2 free rushers to the boundary here, and the right tackle and the right guard's blocking air, and they're double teaming Chris Jones. So that's the thing about Spags and really a lot of defense coordinators, not just Spags, is they get so good at studying protections. And when you get offenses in predictable down and distance, 3rd and 6 plus, where they've got to throw the ball, they're so good at knowing your protections and your weaknesses that they can scheme up things to get free rushers.
There's not a better look to see 2 guys blocking nobody and 2 rushers getting blocked by nobody. That's about as good as you can get with the defensive coordinator, right?
It is. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to bring it back here, Brett. We kind of joke about this, but there's some real thought that goes into this because you mentioned Chris Jones. Yeah. Most teams are going to roll 2 guys to his side, right? The Chiefs just picked up Joshua Uche. I talked to him in the locker room last week. I asked him about Spags. I said, what makes his defense unique compared to any other one you've played in? And he said, hey, the nose tackle has to know coverage responsibilities. This is Joshua Uche's second game with the Chiefs. What does he do on this play?
They drop into the hook, man.
He's playing zone coverage. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if you're the Broncos, are you expecting the pass rush specialist here, the second week on the Chiefs, to drop back here and play a zone defense?
Yeah, he's dropping back, looking to wall off any digs or, rally and make a tackle in a short throw. But, yeah, no, you're exactly right. It's from a skill set standpoint, they ask a lot of those guys with, these simulated pressures and zone pressures and things like that. And that's a good look at it.
And then tell me about sort of the disguise. You talked about disguise down here. Chiefs kind of show their hand late.
Yeah, they do. I mean, you see Johnson was still up over the number one receiver pretty much when the ball was snapped. He doesn't show his hand too early. And then Reed, he creeps in there a little late as well, and both of them get home free. And at that point, I'm not in Nick's head, but I know he's probably thinking, okay, they got 2 free rushers. This has to be some sort of, man blitz, send in the house. So he
what
just
we talked about last time. Yeah, they're sending 7, right? It's got to be cover 0 again. If you got cover 0, you're just going to take this ball and launch it and hope that your guy's going to beat man coverage and beat somebody. He does that. The problem is the Chiefs have got 6 back here in coverage because of all the crazy things they did on the front side.
Right. Yeah, they're going to get 2 free rushers and play a 4 deep, 2 under coverage. So just that's textbook Spags right there.
Yeah, just going back to these plays, Brett, I guess what does this tell you about the Chiefs defense and what Spags is able to do this year, how he's able to confuse not only rookie quarterbacks, but seemingly every quarterback every week he faces them?
Yeah, I mean, we know Spags. We've seen him enough to know what he is, but just how he gets the guys to play the scheme. How they, they're so good, as I mentioned, in terms of their blitz, hiding their blitzes and then their tempo when it's time to actually move into position, time up the snap, be in the right position, and then make the plays when they get there.